Hello, Tar Heel Nation. This is another episode of UNC Hoops Talk. I'm your host, Dan DeWitt, and this is the 58th episode of UNC Hoops Talk, and I am glad you've joined me. I will try to make it sweet. That's right. The Tar Heels are in the Sweet 16 for the first time in a few years, and it feels good. It feels really good. I hope it feels good to you, almost a little bit too good. We got spoiled. We kind of expect this, but when you haven't had it for a few years, it is good to be back. So going out to the Tar Heels. That's right. Way to go. So they take down Arkansas in a crazy first half. As I predicted, the pace, entertainment level was very high for that first half. And of course, we're going to talk all about the Arkansas game. We'll talk about the contrast between the first half and the second half, and then we'll get to the Wisconsin game, of course. Talk about our matchups there, what that's going to look like if we can beat them, how we will do that, all that good stuff, and then just kind of take a quick look around the rest of the ACC and NCAA tournament, or at least what's left of the Sweet 16. So let's jump right into it. If there's ever any questions, comments, suggestions, topics, any feedback that you want at all the links for that you would need for that are in the description below this podcast, wherever you're listening or watching. And just get in contact with me. And hey, let's chat about whatever it is that you want. College basketball, UNC basketball. I'm up for it all. So yeah, let's jump right in. Arkansas game back on Saturday. Seems like it was kind of a long time ago, this slow as Sunday kind of was. I don't know about you, but it felt pretty slow to me on Sunday. So excited to be moving on, excited to beat Arkansas and not have it quite as close as the Harvard game. Ended up with a 9-point victory, 87-78. Before we even jump into the stats, like I said, that first half, and I predicted this is going to be a very entertaining game, and it was. The first half was up and down, and if you follow me on Twitter or on Vine, you know how active it is, and I've been letting you guys know that on the podcast here how active on Vine I've been, but I couldn't even keep up. Like, the pace was just so high. It was up and down. There was not very many breaks, and I couldn't keep up with the Vine. So many highlights. It was crazy. But just shameless plug right there. If you're not following me on Vine, it's All Tar Heel Dan. Twitter as well as at All Tar Heel Dan. Give that follow, and I'll give you all the highlights, plus some highlights from other games. Stick mostly to UNC, but every once in a while I gotta throw something else out there against Duke or just a crazy highlight in the tournament. So yeah, the first half was just nuts. I know the announcers, the broadcasters gave stats about like field goals and offensive rebounds. I think it was like 24 offensive rebounds between both teams, and I mean, it was just crazy, like how many shots we had taken already and all that. Just a great first half, and then the second half happened, and the refs take over the game. It wasn't Arkansas taking over the game. It wasn't North Carolina taking over the game. It was the refs taking over the game. And as great as that first half was, I know I tweeted that out as well. As great as the first half was, the refs sure ruined the second half. Like, that could have been just an awesome game being played there. And I mean, it's just crazy. I saw a stat out there about how many free throws we're taking, and like most of them being in the second half. So I don't know. It's just nuts. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find it, but it was like 50 some free throws, and 48 of them or something were in the second half, and the game wasn't even over yet. So, is what it is. Again, great first half, so entertaining. Just disappointing to me that the second half couldn't be played at the same level. I mean, they were just calling ticky-tack fouls and just ridiculous. But that also resulted in us having to go small. We had, at one point, it was Bryce with 4 fouls. Isaiah with 4 fouls, and I believe in there Kennedy got hurt and left the game. And then as we go on, Bryce fouls out, Kennedy's still out, and then Isaiah fouls out. At one point, well, I know at one point it was Bryce at the 5, and then it was like a JP at the 4. We had Justin in there, Nate and Marcus, and at one point it was like, I think even when Bryce fouled out, I think we went like JP at the 5, and then we had like Justin in the 3-point guards. So crazy small. I know Theo was in there, I think, at the 4 at one point. Just some crazy lineups that we hadn't seen, but we rebounded the ball well enough. We took care of the ball well enough with our turnovers that we pulled it out. And it wasn't even as close as the Harvard game, so that's good. And then on top of that, we had second half Paige come back. Marcus Paige ends up with 22 points, 20 of those in the second half. He shot 3 for 6 from 3. I wish it was broken down in the halves there. I almost wonder if he was like 0 for 2 or 0 for 3 in the first half, and then 3 for 3 or 3 for 4, something like that in the second half. I don't know for sure. You can't quote me on that. But 9 for 9 from the free throw line for Marcus. 6 rebounds for Marcus. Did have kind of a crazy stat, but 0 assists. Had 3 turnovers, but also had 5 steals. So, I mean, again, second half Marcus was back. Hopefully he continues playing that way, and we don't have to wait to the second half. But hopefully he's back to stay, and he's healthy enough and all that good stuff. He doesn't get beat up. It's good, playing Saturday. We get to wait till Thursday now, so they get quite a rest in there. And then also Kennedy Meeks injury as well, which doesn't look like there's much of an update. But hopefully at least gives him enough time to rest and be enough to play at least and contribute some on Thursday. But other stat-wise, Justin Jackson ended up with 16 points, 3 rebounds. He also had 3 turnovers, 2 steals. Let's see here. Nate Britt was huge in the first half, coming off the bench. And this, we talked about last week, and he played 1 minute in that Harvard game. Played 23 minutes in this game. 10 points, 4 rebounds, 2 of each, so 2 offensive rebounds as well. Had a steal, assist, a turnover. Had a 3-pointer in there. But he had 8 quick points in that first half, driving to the hole and breaking the press and stuff. It was beautiful and good. We talked about his confidence, making sure it didn't slip down, but definitely should help his confidence quite a bit. JP Tokudo ended up with 13 points, which is good for him. 4 for 9, decent percentage. Shot 5 for 7 from the free throw line. We haven't talked about his free throws this year nearly as much as last year, but that's great. 5 for 7 there, because we know that he was the one that wanted to get the ball and foul at the end of that game, and he knocked him down. 5 rebounds, 8 assists to 0 turnovers, maybe his biggest stat right there. Also had a couple of steals. Meeks in the 15 minutes before he got injured, 9 points, 4 rebounds. He did have 4 turnovers. He was 4 for 5 shooting, but really this is not the type of game for Kennedy. As great as his outlets passes are and can help us in transition, just the up and down pace wasn't going to be conducive to him anyway. He had 4 fouls before he did foul out, before he got injured. I thought it would be a little more suitable to Bryce, but still only ended up with 7 points. Did rebound the ball great towards the end of the game before he fouled out. Had 13 rebounds, 3 assists for Bryce, 2 blocks, 2 steals. Like I said, fouled out with playing 29 minutes. We talked about Nate off the bench. Joel Berry, really only 11 minutes, which it's about what he was getting. He was getting 11 to 13 or so, but 6 points, no assists to 3 turnovers. So it's probably another reason why Nate got more minutes than him in this game. And I think, not jump ahead. Really, that's all we have for stats, I guess. Isaiah 2 points, Joel James 2 points. Not much there. Besides the 5 fouls, what we did get from Isaiah. Again, Joel not athletic enough, quick enough to get up and down the floor in this type of game. But as far as the backup point guard position goes, I know we talked about it last week. There was a good discussion on Google Plus about it, about whether it should be. And I've talked to several people about it, actually, because I talked about it on the podcast last week about whether it should be Nate or Joel Berry getting those backup point guard minutes. And it looked like Joel was going to get them all. Nate was, like I said, played 1 minute in the Harvard game, was kind of eliminated from the rotation. And then obviously this game played right into his hands. The experience he has, good free throw shooter, can knock down shots, can get to the hole. And also, us having 3 point guards we can play really helped us, but played right into his hands. And I think, from what I can tell, it looks like Roy's going to kind of go with whatever guy is working. Whatever, however the matchups work out, that's who's going to get those backup minutes to the point guard. And whether we need, Marcus at the 2 more than the 1, that kind of thing. So I think he knows also that Nate can probably handle being on the bench better than maybe Joel can. Joel's confidence maybe would take a bigger hit than Nate's would at this point in their lives and their careers. So it's awesome for Nate to come back and do that. I don't know that we can say it's going to continue. Looking at Wisconsin, they don't necessarily slow it down anymore like old Wisconsin teams did, but they're not going to try to get out and run with us, I doubt. And so Joel in the half court being stronger, bigger, might be more conducive, and also guarding their guards might do a better job. So we may see again where Nate doesn't see much time unless we go back to 3 point guards. If they're small enough and he thinks those 3 guys can guard the other team's wings, go that way. But I can very well see where Joel's minutes go back up to 15, 16, and Nate's down to under 10 even. But again, that's why we have Roy Williams taking care of this stuff, and he kind of knows what he's doing. So, like I said, let's see, that kind of covers most of that game. We talked about Marcus in the second half, how great he was. Of course, we'd like to have him in the first half as well. But also Justin, I think I saw a stat that out of his 16 points, 14 of them were in the second half. And, he's just become a big-time player. He's not afraid of taking that last shot or taking an important shot. And obviously he's got the ability to knock it down. He's really coming along. He's looking nice. I saw some people talking about maybe he'd leave after this year and stuff. I don't really see that. I think he's got his head on straight. I don't think he's proven enough. He needs to put more weight on. And I think he enjoys himself. So I really think he'll be back very easily for 1 more year, possibly even 2. We get a junior year out of him, but really pleased with him. He can really step up and be a superstar in the next couple of years or even next year. So really awesome. As far as Kennedy Meeks injury, they said it was a sprained knee, so they'd have to wait for MRIs or CAT scans, anything like that. But it looks like we don't have an update yet. This is, let's see, as of an hour ago, there was no update. He had the MRI and he's meeting with doctors this afternoon. They're still saying it's a sprained knee, which you don't know what, it just kind of depends on how bad it is whether he can play, whether how much we can get out of him, all that good stuff. So still up in the air. But yeah, that pretty much covers the Arkansas game. Again, if you didn't see that first half, that is worth watching and watching several times. That was just so entertaining. Like, you didn't have to watch the score. You didn't have time to watch the score or the time on the shot clock or game clock. It was just up and down, and it was so entertaining. People making plays. Yeah, there was mistakes in there. Got a little sloppy, whatever. It was just very entertaining basketball, especially with as much slow it down basketball we've seen as of late and in the tournament. So, great win against the 5th seed in Arkansas. And now we've kind of met our seeding expectations. We've beat the teams, that we were seeded above. So really from here on out, and like I said in the tournament preview, we had to make the Sweet 16, and we've done that. So from here on out, we're kind of playing with house money. Everything we do is awesome. If you listen to the preview, you also know that I did pick UNC to beat Wisconsin. So hopefully I'm not jinxing them or anything like that. But it's not like I'm just saying, okay, we're done, we can lose now. I expect us to come out and compete. It should be a pretty good game against Wisconsin. They didn't have their greatest game against Oregon. They have the same amount of time now to get ready. Bo Ryan's going to have them ready, and it should be a really good game. If we come out and play, we can definitely win. But I don't know. Sorry, this is totally off topic. But just seeing a tweet here where it says that Nate Britt and Marcus Paige. Well, it says Marcus said that Nate Britt joked to him about having a Kemba Walker / Shabazz Napier role in the NCAA tournament. How awesome would that be if Marcus just goes on a streak like Kemba did and like Shabazz did and to win the tournament? Like, that would be awesome. But yeah, so matchup with Wisconsin. Really, we know about Frank Kaminsky because he was a National Player of the Year candidate. Looks like he'll end up behind Jahlil Okafor for whatever reason for that, but definitely be a load inside. Interesting who we're going to have matched up against him. Obviously, it's up to Roy, but he can definitely step out, knock down the three, and play on the perimeter. Definitely can post up. So if we put Kennedy, Joel, something like that, he's going to go on the outside. Even Bryce a little bit going to the outside. Can knock down the three over top of him, and if we leave like JP on him or something like that, he's going to post him up. So definitely a mismatch, or at least a problem there. But really, my best option is Isaiah Hicks, because he can guard the post. He's a post player, but also, last year playing the three should help him being able to guard the perimeter. Not that he's going to be a great defender out there or anything like that, but he might be our best matchup against Frank Kaminsky in this game. And then they have Decker, but I really think JP can stay right with him. Athletically, he's better. Maybe not quite as strong, but as long as he's locked in and focused, I think shouldn't have a problem there. And then as long as we can stop their penetration, stay with their guards, which, again, we have the ability to do, especially with all three of our guards. Again, I like our chances. If we pound the ball, if Meeks is healthy, if we can pound in, if our big guys are consistent, if they're efficient, effective, and then if we can get out and run, kind of those two things. Well, I mean, turnovers, obviously, always the case for us. But and even going back to Arkansas real quick, we had 17 turnover against Harvard in a slower game. We had 16 turnovers against Arkansas in their press. And you saw, if you watch the game, we broke their press, and really they had to take it off for a long stretch in there because we were breaking it so easy. So if we can take care of the ball, pound it inside, get out and run a little bit, I like it. Obviously, Wisconsin scares me. They're 1 seed. They're a good team. But there's no reason why we can't play good and beat these guys and move on to the Elite Eight. How sweet would that be? And if you've been listening to this podcast long enough, you know that I predict, or said, not necessarily predicted of Elite Eight, but I said that Elite Eight should be the goal for this team, and then kind of backed off as our season went because of how we were playing. But it's definitely a possibility for us. We just got to go out and get it. The pace of this game should not be as crazy, but hopefully we can get the ball moving up and down and make the pace a little crazy. I think that would definitely be in our advantage. Bo Ryan and Wisconsin is so, not slow it down, but just so, take care of the ball, methodical execution stuff. So we get out there, get them going, help them make a few mistakes. Definitely be in our advantage. And like I said, we're playing with house money. We got nothing to lose. We should come out loose and take down these guys is how I see it. But we'll see. A couple other interesting things about Wisconsin, or at least the Wisconsin matchup. We beat them in 2005 when we went on to win the national championship. We beat them a couple years later in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. JP Tokuto is from Wisconsin. I think he actually played AAU ball with the point guard. I don't even know his name, and Decker there. So obviously they know him well. He knows them well. And then also Marcus said that Wisconsin was waiting to see what JP did before offering Paige. So I don't know if they actually did offer him when JP came to, or committed to North Carolina, or what actually happened. But it was actually this month 4 years ago that JP Tokuto chose us over Wisconsin. So it's kind of all coming together for this week, for Thursday. And then, of course, the other side of our bracket, the West bracket, Arizona is pretty much hosting. I shouldn't say hosting. It's in LA. Arizona's not there, but Xavier is who they play. Shouldn't have any problem with them. And that would be a tough one if we did get past them to play Arizona out west in LA. But would love to have the chance, of course, and I know other guys would too. So just got to take care of business. Looking around at other ACC teams, ACC teams have done awesome so far. I know we started off like 9-0. Virginia is the only team that's lost so far in the ACC, and we got plenty of teams left. If you want to cheer for the conference, there's plenty of options to do that. So Notre Dame, as the 3 seed, is still alive, and we'll play Wichita State on pretty much the same time. Starts before our game, but that early slot, Notre Dame will play Wichita State on Thursday, and then on Friday, actually ACC teams will match up in NC State and Louisville on Friday, and then of course, that other school down the road from us is still alive as the 1 seed. They will play Utah in the late game, one of the late games on Friday. So I believe the record's like 11-1 for the ACC in the tournament so far. And like I said, Virginia, the only team getting knocked out, which is crazy. Our regular season champion gets knocked out. I shouldn't say the highest seed. I guess Duke was ahead of them, but what was supposed to be the best team out of the ACC for most of the season gets knocked out by Michigan State. But we get, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in the ACC left, 5 out of 6. So good showing by the ACC, much better than a lot of conferences. Of course, we still have. And not to not mention it, but State did beat the only 1 seed not left in Villanova. So even though they are a rival, it's good to see the ACC doing well. And we know that one ACC team will move on to the Elite Eight because NC State and Louisville play each other. But yeah, not to take anything away from State beating Nova. Good accomplishment. Good on you guys. Good showing for the ACC. But yeah, looking around, we of course still have the storyline of Kentucky going undefeated. They will match up with, and now I'm going to draw a blank real quick unless I can bring it up here. West Virginia, there you go. And West Virginia was the one that knocked out the John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins team, was that 2-3 years ago? I guess 3 years ago. The Elite Eight to go to the Final Four. And if Kentucky beats West Virginia, if Wichita State could actually beat Notre Dame, it would set up that matchup that Kentucky upset Wichita State last year, when Wichita State was the 1 seed and undefeated. And just how awesome would it be not even a storyline, but just how awesome would it be if Wichita State came back, upset Kentucky in their undefeated season, and got to move on to the Final Four instead of Kentucky after what they did to them last year. So definitely would be cheering for that. And of course, just to have Kentucky lose would help us if we can keep advancing. So, Duke's bracket, of course, we know they always get the easiest bracket. It's even blowing up even more to make it easier for them. They got Utah, and then they will take on the winner of Gonzaga UCLA. So either the mid-major that nobody thinks should be ranked as high as they ever are, or UCLA, who we beat back in November and shouldn't have even made the tournament. So that's kind of the rest of the tournament, the Sweet 16. Yeah, I don't know what else really to say about that. It is what it is. We got to come out and compete. I don't know if it's good or bad us playing the first day, but Roy's just got to get them ready. The guys got to be focused, got to be ready to go, and we can take care of business. We can do it. Like I said, there's nothing to lose. We're playing with house money. Go out, be loose against Wisconsin, shoot the ball well, pound it inside, get out and run, have some fun, and we can definitely do this. So that's about all I got. Again, if you have any feedback, questions, comments, all the descriptions are in the below. This will go up on YouTube, youtube.com/UNC Hoops Talk. Goes up on iTunes. Just search UNC Hoops or UNC Hoops Talk. Should be able to find it on the podcast app. It goes up on SoundCloud, goes up on the blog, unchoopstalk.blogspot.com. Check any of those places out. Follow me on Vine, Twitter, Instagram. It's all at AllTarHeelDan. Google Plus is just Dan DeWitt. And trying a new thing for this podcast, I meerkatted out. We got 13 people watching. No comments here. Nobody's making any comments. But if you got meerkat, it's AllTarHeelDan as well. You can, I don't know. We'll see if we keep doing that or not. But had to try it out. It looks neat. We got 13 people watching, so that's a positive. But yeah, check out the description. All the links that I've mentioned or anything I talked about will be there, and ways to connect with me will be there. I hope you'll come back, listen again next week. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes or YouTube so that you don't miss future podcasts. Other than that, that's all I got. And just remember, until next time, go Heels.